getting weird out there. Here's what to expect. Because a new world is coming. News from the future. Sooner than you think.
Right. So by 2048, there were 3 ways to get a new kidney. You could grow one in a lab. Perfect match, 0 rejection risk, roughly the cost of a small house. You could get a pig kidney, edited with CRISPR to be compatible with human biology. Cheap, effective, and came with a lingering social stigma that never quite went away. Or you could wait for a traditional donor organ, which by this point was about as rare as finding a vinyl record shop. An American insurance company called Health Futura looked at this landscape and thought, loyalty program. For $299 a month, subscribers could pre-register for bioprinted replacement organs and earn what Health Futura cheerfully called organ points. Gold tier members received priority access to kidneys. Platinum members could request custom-grown hearts with cosmetic modifications. And yes, people genuinely ordered heart-shaped hearts. The company's free tier offered pig organs, with a 90-day return policy for organs. The marketing slogan was, "Because you deserve human parts," which is one of those sentences that sounds perfectly fine until you think about it for more than about 4 seconds. What actually happened, predictably, was the creation of a 2-tier system that mirrored every other 2-tier system in American life. Wealthy subscribers received bespoke organs grown from their own stem cells. Biologically perfect, socially prestigious. Everyone else got pig organs that functioned identically, but carried an invisible mark. "Are you bio or pig?" became a whispered question at dinner parties. It functioned identically to asking someone their salary, but somehow felt more invasive. The return policy, incidentally, was quietly discontinued in 2050 after 17 people attempted to return functioning pig kidneys for a bioprinted upgrade. One man mailed his back. By 2041, Catholic Church attendance in Western Europe had fallen below 8%. Not 8% of Catholics, 8% of everyone. The Vatican had spent 2 decades trying everything. Shorter masses, TikTok homilies, a papal Twitch stream that averaged 11 viewers. Nothing worked. But they still had one product people actually wanted: forgiveness. The problem was delivery. There weren't enough priests. Italy alone had 27,000 parishes and 14,000 active priests, and most of those were over 70. So when a Milan-based AI startup called Absolvo pitched ConfessioAI, a system trained on 2,000 years of Catholic moral theology and deployed in soundproof booths in train stations, airports, and shopping centres, the Vatican's initial response was exactly what you'd expect. They called it heresy, formally, in Latin. But Absolvo had data. In a 6-month trial across 47 locations in northern Italy, ConfessioAI users reported 47% higher spiritual relief than those who confessed to human priests. The reason was devastatingly simple. People were more honest with a machine. The sins people could never say to another human face poured out freely to an algorithm that couldn't judge them, couldn't gossip about them, and couldn't look at them differently at the next parish barbecue. Therefore, the Vatican did what the Vatican has always done when confronted with something it initially condemned. It invested €40 million. By 2043, there were ConfessioAI booths in 12 countries. The interface was warm. The voice was gentle. The absolution was personalised to your specific moral framework, whether you were a traditional Catholic, a lapsed one, or, increasingly, just someone who needed to say something terrible out loud to a presence that felt sacred but wasn't human. Which meant that by early 2044, ConfessioAI had quietly assembled the largest database of human guilt ever compiled. 2.3 million confessions, searchable, categorized by sin type, emotional intensity, and geographic region. When the breach happened in March of 2044, security researchers called it the Great Absolution Leak. 2.3 million confessions published on an anonymous server. Politicians, executives, teachers, doctors. The confessions were anonymous in theory, but the metadata wasn't. Timestamps, locations, device identifiers. Cross-referencing was trivially easy. It turned out the most private technology in human history wasn't encryption, or blockchain, or end-to-end messaging. It was the confession booth, a 700-year-old wooden box with a curtain, and we'd replaced it with a server farm.
Into human-readable emotional states with 89% accuracy. For the first time in history, pet owners could genuinely understand what their animals were feeling. Not interpreting, not projecting, reading a scientifically validated emotional readout. The initial response was exactly what you'd expect. My dog really does love me. My cat is happy to see me. The app charted at #1 in 43 countries within 72 hours. But within months, the darker data emerged. Cats reported boredom levels that qualified as psychological distress. Under the clinical criteria established for humans, the average house cat's daytime emotional state was equivalent to solitary confinement. Dog separation anxiety was measurably equivalent to human panic attacks. Not similar to. Equivalent to. Every single morning, when you left for work, your dog experienced what a human would call a medical emergency. Caged birds showed emotional signatures indistinguishable from clinical depression. Hamsters displayed something the researchers had no word for, a kind of existential despair that peaked between 2 and 4 in the morning when nobody was watching. The Great Pet Awakening triggered a legal earthquake. Animal welfare organizations used the translation data to file lawsuits arguing that pet ownership, as practiced, constituted emotional abuse. New Zealand and the Netherlands passed companion rights laws requiring minimum emotional enrichment standards. You now had to keep your pet happy, measurably happy, or lose custody. Pet custody courts overwhelmed family courts by a ratio of 3 to 1. Therefore, a German Shepherd in Seattle became the first animal in history to provide legally admissible testimony about its own living conditions via translator app in a custody dispute. The dog's testimony, translated in real time, was 4 words: "I miss the garden."
Could this be the future? Read our research in the description. Subscribe for more news from outside your timeline.